Hi and welcome to Fun Swedish. For all those into Marvel movies and Norse mythology, the new Thor movie is out very soon. This means that Swedes will have to listen to some Nordic names being pronounced the wrong way. So to make Swedes happy again, today we will teach you how to pronounce these names the right way. Let's start with the main character of the movie Thor. In Swedish we say Thor and not Thor. And we don't write his name with an H, just Thor. Thor is a pretty common name here in Sweden. Even I have a cousin called Thor. He is in his 40s, which is what you usually expect nowadays from someone called Thor. But the name is making a comeback, perhaps due to the Marvel movies. So you might also meet some babies called Thor here in Sweden. Also, my cousin's son's name is Torbjörn, the bear of Thor, which shows you a bit his sense of humor. But back to topic. For those who don't know, in Norse mythology, Thor is the god of thunder. In Swedish, that would be Åskguden. Åska means thunder. Thor is also associated with his hammer and his strength. And his hammer is called either Thors hammare, but also Mjölner or Mjölne. And not Mjolnir like in the movies.
What is the name of Thor's hammer?
Mjolnir?
Jonathan?
It was pretty close. I just need to get the right. Mjölnir. Mjölner is an interesting word because mjöl is the Swedish word for flour. So you could kind of make the case that Mjölner is the pulverizer, or something that will hit you so hard that it will make you into flour.
I'm gonna type in. High five!
Flourful victory.
And just like in the movies, Mjölner is made by some dwarfs, which in Swedish are called dvärgar. The name Thor can be seen in the Swedish name for Thursday, torsdag. And you can also walk on the streets of Stockholm and end up in Torsgatan, the street of Thor. And remember that we make this sh sound when we write together R and S in Swedish, like in these words, torsdag, Torsgatan. Let's move on to other characters. Thors papa is the famous Odin, but in Swedish we call him Odin. In the Marvel movie they call Thor Odinsson. In Swedish that would be Thor Odensson. And he gets this name because of the Nordic tradition of making last names by just putting son at the name of your father's name. And if you want to know more about Swedish last names, check out this video. Back to Oden. The weekday, onsdag, Wednesday, comes from the name Oden. And you can also find some places here in Stockholm with the name Oden, such as Odenplan or Odengatan. Streets and places that are pretty close to Valhallavägen, which is Valhalla Street, or maybe the way to Valhalla. Valhalla! I really want to live on this street. Valhalla eller Valhalla is kind of the Nordic mythology equivalent of heaven. Then we have another character whose name is pronounced Loki wrong. Loki. In Swedish, he is called Loke and not Loki. And yes, he is the son of a giant, which in Swedish is jätte. A word you probably know since we say things like jättebra here in Sweden, which we use as very good, even though it really translates to giant good. As you can see, you will find a lot of things from the Norse mythology in the Swedish language. From the third Thor Marvel movie, we have the character Hela, which in Swedish is really Hel, dödens gudinna. Gudinna being the female version of God, so goddess, and döden being death, so the goddess of death. And contrary to the Marvel movies, she is not the daughter of Odin. She is Lokes dotter, the daughter of Loki. Wow, what a plot twist. And she's also the ruler of Hel. And talking about places in Norse mythology, another important place in the Marvel movies and in the Norse mythology is Asgård. Yes, that is how it should be pronounced, not Asgard. Asgård is the home of the Asar gods. Gård is the Swedish word for farm or maybe yard. And in some situations it can also be translated to garden. So Asgård, correctly pronounced, can be translated to the garden of the gods or the places where the gods have their farms and where they lived. Some bonus characters. Swedish names that are in the movies, but perhaps not the most important characters. We have Siv, which is normally written with a V in Swedish, though you can find it with an F as well. This lady, Siv, was supposed to be Thor's wife, Thors fru. There is also Valkyrie or Valkyria in Swedish. That apparently means den som väljer, de som skall falla i striden, the one that chooses those who will fall in the battle. And if you know that the word val, ett val, in Swedish means a choice, then it kind of makes sense. Heimdall is pronounced and spelled pretty correctly in the movies. Heimdall had the best sense of sight, which also agrees with a Marvel character. But Heimdall was also known in Norse mythology for being very, very white. He was called den vita asen, the white Asgardian. And also, in this next movie that is coming out, we have Zeus, which has no real pronunciation in Swedish, because this is a Greek god. Now they're really mixing it up. So, hopefully next time you see all these Marvel movies about Norse mythology, then you know how to pronounce these names the Swedish way. And if you want to know more about Swedish culture, history, or just Swedish words, then you should check out our online video courses. You can find the link up here and down below. And before you go, don't forget to put a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't done it yet. Hej då!